knee move that we did, right? Where, you know, you're up here, your left knee pivots down, your right knee pivots up, and you end up 180. We're gonna do that right now. Okay, so you're caught in the front headlock again. I'm gonna do this from my knees. You can also, you're most likely you're gonna do it from your feet. I'm just gonna do it from my knees to connect it to what we did in the beginning. From here, if my right arm is the inside arm, I'm gonna reach across and pull as much as I can. Do not stay here too long because you're putting yourself in danger for like a head and arm, any kind of head and arm choke. Okay, so from here, my left foot steps up, my right hand clasps deep behind his tricep here. This all happens at the same time. I throw my left arm over as I pull my right hand through and turn my body 180 until I'm sitting next to him. Here. Okay. Again, my goal is to get my hip next to his hip. It's not going to happen that clean, so we're going to do it slow first and then we're going to put a little resistance on it. Again, you're caught in the front headlock. My right arm's inside, so my left foot steps up. Again, if you're doing it from your feet, the exact same principles apply. My right hand is going to go deep behind his tricep. As you pull and throw your arm over, you're going to knee switch and end up next to him. Here. Okay? Again, give me a little bit of resistance. In a sparring situation, you're probably not going to do it from your knees, right? You're probably going to be, he's giving you a lot of resistance. You can grab here and drag through. Okay? So, your goal, if you get lost, your goal is to get your hip next to his hip. Does everybody see how that works? Yeah. It's going to feel a little bit awkward at first because you're reaching across, but reach as far behind that tricep as you can. Everything fires together, so don't go 1, 2, 3. Everything fires together. As you drag, you're getting your head underneath him, you're throwing that arm over, and you're getting your hip next to his, whether you're on your knees or standing. Any questions? One more time. Let's go real slow. From here, I'll do it from my knees. My right arm's inside. So, my left foot steps up, right hand behind the tricep here. Now, my head is going to slide underneath his hip, his chest, as I throw my left arm over and drag his arm through until I end up next to him. Go! From here. An underrated submission from here is the 10-finger guillotine, aka the chupacabra, right? You can have whatever grip you want. The easiest grip is probably going to be double chin strap here, right underneath your opponent's neck. Okay? Let's start from the front headlock here, because we're not just going to rip it. From here, if I decide to go for the chupacabra, the arm that's around the hand is going to come in and support the arm that's already around the chin. Okay? So I'm holding his chin like this, I'm holding his arm like this. I'm going to come in, I'm just going to double reinforce the grip around his chin. At the same time, I'm going to align my spine and move myself slightly up towards his back here. Everybody see that? So I started here with my shoulder on the back of his neck, so it's hard for him to move. When I decide to go commit to the submission, I'm going to move my hand towards my chin strap hand and align my spine in line with my opponent's and slide up his body. Next, that's going to allow me to drop my belly to the floor as I scoop up with my hands for the choke. Okay, so I'm forcing his head down as I melon scooper my hands up here. Okay, this does not work if you don't make the transition in line with his spine and up his body, because you're going to be here and you're going to be trying to get it and there's nowhere for your belly to go because you're already too far off it. Okay, so again, starting from the front headlock here, right? You're moving, you can't get anything, that's fine. Align with his spine as you move your hands in position. My belly's on the back of his neck. I sprawl my belly forward as I melon scooper my hands for the finish here. Now, granted, your opponent's probably going to roll or fight the hands, and that's what we're going to deal with next. But for now, keep this. Or next week, I should say. Any questions? Super simple, super effective. At least draw a reaction. Can't remember the last time I finished anyone with this. Definitely never in competition. But it forces a reaction. Cool. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Not a high percentage technique in terms of finishes, but it will draw a reaction, okay? So I'm here in the front headlock, or maybe I got directly to it, right? I start melon scoopering, he's gonna bring a hand in to like fight the choke or something, right? Yeah, exactly. Now, in this specific scenario, everybody come over so you can see me over here. In this specific scenario, I'm just gonna go right back to the front headlock. Here, connect my hands together. Okay. Now, I prefer an S grip. You can also do a gable grip. Whatever arm is on the outside, that palm is facing up because we're going to need to use that elbow like a lever. Okay? So I'm in the front headlock. You don't have to go to 10-finger guillotine. If you find yourself in the front headlock, go directly for it. I need to get his arm as far to the other side as possible. Here. For 2 reasons. One, I'm going to go for a choke. So if my right arm is going to cut off this artery, I need his arm cutting off the other artery, just like any triangle choke. Okay? Just like any head and arm choke. So from here, I cut his arm across. Number two, it gives me a big, nice space here that I'm gonna occupy. Couple things happen at the same time, and I cannot stress that enough. This happens at the same time. My right leg is gonna come out here and then in across his body. My shin, I should say. My right knee, again, trace a line on my finger. It's gonna come out this way and then in here, further compressing his arm against his neck. At the same time, I'm going to bring my grip to the outside here. So my knee's going this way, my grip is going this way. Has to be at the same time. If you get in position and your grip isn't in place, you got nothing, okay? So from here, I cut his arm across. I'm gonna try to do it as slowly as possible, but gravity being what it is, it's gonna be a little quick. My right knee comes from the outside and then in as I pull my grip across, okay? From here, don't pull back. You're gonna crunch. I'm choking with my right arm right now. I'm gonna crunch to my right. Here, for the seated Kata Gatame finish, okay? Again, my knee is going across his belly. I'm not pulling full guard on this, A, because it's kind of hard when we're both low. My left leg is over his back because in order for him to defend it, he jumps to the other side. If my leg is over his back, he's got nowhere to jump. At best, he can roll, in which case I mount him. Or he gives up his back, in which case I take it back. Some of you guys discovered that yesterday. Again, from here, from the front headlock, I'm gonna cut his arm across, make a nice big space for myself, and compress that arm across his neck. My right leg swings out, and then in at the same time, I pull my grip out. Here. Everybody saw my hands go from here to here, right? Now I can feel my right arm is sealed tightly against his neck. I can feel that his arm is sealed tightly against the other side of his neck. My left leg goes across, and I don't sit back. I crunch to the side I'm choking as I squeeze my arms. Any questions? Be careful the path of your knee, the way your knee travels, because some of you guys are messing that up yesterday. And what's going to happen is, if you just try and sit back, you know I'm here. If you just try and sit back, his arm's going to get caught like in between your legs and stuff, and you don't really quite have anything. You can transition from there, but you're not going to be able to finish the Kata Gatame, the chupacabra. Any questions? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Got Ant on top and Dave on the bottom here, just running through the front headlock drills. Looks like he's going for a drag through. Doesn't quite get, oh, it does get it. I'm sorry. So, that was interesting. Instead of standing up and spinning around, he plants his right foot, sits onto his right hip, and uses it to drag his head out. Here. So it's almost like a seated arm. Yeah, exactly like a seated arm drag. And just get it right back to the back position. Good for him. I'll run it back. Front headlock, posts up. Manages to get standing and drag through. Not much resistance here, obviously. Dave on top and on the bottom, minimum resistance. Okay, if you're going to do this drag through, wrist is not good enough. You got to reach as far back, not just a little bit, as far back on your opponent's tricep as possible to give yourself maximum leverage. Also, he's using the wrong arm. There we go. Yep. I would step his other foot up. There we go. Now he's got to pivot and spin or stand up. I'd like to see a little bit more pivot with the lower body to make that, what am I trying to say? The pivot, that slash spin as violent as possible, as tight a circle as possible. So, yeah, he's got, looks like he had a deep grip behind there. It's just kind of pushing Dave right now. He's got to really hit the drag. Josh on top and with like Q on the bottom here. Hitting the drag. There we go. Nice. I'd like to see him spin a little bit more. And again, when you do this live, you'll probably start on your knees, but you'll probably end up on your feet because your opponent's going to be trying to rotate with you. Pretty good. He's trying to sit back to guard. Oh, manages to get it. That was lazy on Ant's part, so let's see what went wrong. Trying to sit back to guard. Yep. Ant didn't have a tight enough grip. Manages to sit right back to the open guard. Pretty good.
So Gabe on top, DJ on the bottom. Gabe, DJ looking for that drag. Let's see if he can pivot. So that very good grip with that arm. It's deep and is doing an active job pulling, generating as much leverage as possible. He's pivoting onto the knee right now. Hits the drag and covers the back immediately. Very good. Got time for one more, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Josh on top, Nate on the bottom. Steps over for the Peruvian, and Nate had a grip on the hands that we could see here. Again, you want your hamstring going directly over your opponent's head. Wind it back a little bit more. So we were here. We're good so far. Here he starts to lose it, and you can see he's a little bit parallel. Got to be perpendicular to your partner. Here, loses it here. Dave on top and on the bottom here. Looks like he's aligned. Drops his belly for the 10 finger. Gets it. Not much to say about that one. That was pretty textbook. So let's look at that again. So he looks like he's got the 10 finger grip here. I'm sorry, he's got the looks like a gable grip here. And doesn't look like he has his hands inside. He might have one hand inside. I can't see what his left arm is doing. See Dave spine lined up with Ant's spine here. He's gonna pull with his hands, drop his belly. Textbook. Nate on top again, starting in the 10 finger grip this time. Oh, get the grip in. Got to drop his belly. Oh, he's trying to go for the Peruvian from here and gets a 10 finger instead. So let's look at that again. He was going for the Peruvian. Boom. Again, it's hard to get the Peruvian without the arm, ironically. Here. And did he already tap? He got for the 10 finger or regular guillotine here. Nate on top, Cub on the bottom. Cub goes up, grabs the leg. Looks like Nate's going to drop back. Going for the 10 finger. Missed it. So let's see how Gabe defended it. Or not Gabe, sorry. Cub defended it. Grabs a leg. Nate needs to get his belly down, but instead he tries to sit back with it. I don't know if he tried to sit back with it or Cub just forced him into that position. He loses that position, and Cub is probably going to pass from there. Nate on top, Josh on the bottom, working that 10 finger. Nate's not working the 10 finger, sorry. Josh looks like he's got a grip inside on both hands. He's got to lift his butt up to relieve that pressure. All right, now Nate's switching to the Peruvian. Gotta get that leg over. Josh does a good job rolling. Nate might be able to finish it from here. Yeah, and gets a tap. So if you're going for the Peruvian and your opponent rolls, as long as you have control over their upper and lower body with your legs, still viable. Jose on top, Nate on the bottom. Jose got a good grip on the neck here. He's gonna drop his belly down, and Nate gets his head free. Let's look at what happened. He's got a 10 finger grip here. Nate slides through, recovers guard. White Josh on top, Anthony on the bottom here. Looks like Anthony's trying to fight the grip. I'm not quite sure what he's going for. He's trying to sit through, but not quite. Trying to go for a fireman's carry, or at least an inside or head outside single. Oh, he's got to be real careful for me. He's going to get back taken. Let's look at what went wrong. So he didn't really commit to anything, and it just kind of led to nothing. He didn't get to standing either, meaning Jacob is in a much more athletic position, and he was able to just kind of stay one step ahead of Ant until he got to his back. Have a plan in mind. If you're going to commit to something, commit to something. If you're going to fake it, fake it. There we go. Now he's in a much more athletic position, trying to get to standing, fighting the grips. Again, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do. He's got to pick something and go for it. Remember, the worst decision you can make is no decision, which is hard as a beginner because there's so many things to think about. But when in doubt, pick something, absolutely go for it. Yeah, it looks like he's going for a head outside single right now. At least he went for something. On top, Jacob on the bottom here, and doing a good job snapping him down. I'd like to see his legs a little bit wider. Jacob goes for the sit through, misses it. Still alive. He's gonna go for a sit through now. His head's out. His head's out. He's got to commit to it. There we go. Kinda. If I were him, I'd stand up and fight the grip down. No, his head's still out. He could definitely hit a sit through. He's got to be aggressive with it though, and he's got to stop. There we go. Grab the elbow, not the wrist. Sit through hard. Got to turn that corner harder. Also, Ant kind of sees it coming now too. Oh, he turns all the way over. That was nice. So normally I tell people not to rotate all the way, right? Rewind it back a little bit too far. Normally, I tell people to cover the hips after you've hit the sit through, but Jacob committed so hard, he continues to turn and he gets out. Nice. Back. So starting their front headlock again. And switching the grips this time. Looks like he's going for a 10 finger, misses it. If I were Jacob, I'd just sit all the way up. And it's about to get to his back. Oh, good scramble.